welcome back to another case of unsolved mysteries. So when I was put up on the case, I see this video. Let me play it fast and then we'll slow it down. See, the thing I don't understand, but let's finish the clip and then we'll slow it down. So I started scrolling through the comments, and what makes this case very interesting is, well, basically the comments are just talking about how the girl or her friend laughs like a car, which is true. We'll play that real quick. Anyway, let's go back and we'll start to slow this down so we can get involved in this thing pretty good. So I was just thinking, this is a regular video or whatnot, right? You know, you see a white girl, just a rich white girl, you know, on one of those little hoverboards. But then this case where it takes a little turn, a little twist here. I was watching a whole complication of like different accidents that happen, and this one caught my eye because like on my last series that I did, where they thought that, that car just came, that car just vanished. But really, if you look at the video, you can see the car. All they did was just turn off their lights, and then you can see it moving, but it's so dark, but you can still see it. You just have to know where to look sometimes. And I see this, and I'm looking, and I'm just like, okay, so I've had two sisters before. This girl, I would say she's about 5'5", 5'6". You know what? Let me look back. She's about 5'5". We'll say about 110, 115 pounds, all right? And I'm looking at that. I say, okay, so that's a hoverboard. And she's got a shirt on from the 1970. So, and I just mentioned that because I saw a comment that mentioned that. But anyway, we start playing, and I said, okay, well, she's not that heavy, right? To make a dent like this. So I see her speed velocity, we'll say maybe about 6 feet, 7 feet back. Even with the hoverboards, I mean, you're not going to go too fast either way. As soon as she clicks that, I didn't even know that that wall was damaged. I thought it was just the metal part hitting the base of that floor. What I'm surprised is how if she hit that, now if you look right here and you can see right here in this circle, see that electrical outlet? So you go from there to the size of this wall, and you look at her dimensions, and you look at that overall, it doesn't make sense. And if you look at the board, it's just literally like the board catapults her into the wall. But then that whole wall, it's crazy when it happens. So we'll go back a little bit. She's surprised. But what I'm more surprised about is how in the world is this wall back here? Now, she's not up against it, but if you put her against it, this wall is actually about twice the size of her. So we'll go back a little. So she knows she's going to hit it, right? Look at her elbow. She's already bracing herself. So she already knocked her elbow out. Look at that. The first thing that hits, so her board gets catched. Her board doesn't do anything to the wall. As soon as her board hits it, it pushes her back into the wall. But if you look at it, so the board actually didn't do anything. It was she did running into it. But if you look at that, so her elbow hits it first. But if you can see, it's already exploding this part. So I went back and I said, well, let's go back a little bit. I said, maybe the wall was broken before, so we're going to slow it down. The wall isn't. And we can zoom in even more. We'll go back one more time. Don't worry. See that? There's no... And it's by the time she hits it. And then look at the sound. Now, why on earth? It sounded like a 250-pound linebacker hitting just drop kicked another football player. Oh, shoot. And then for that impact, it makes no sense. Look at the size of that hole in there. Now, that wall must have been, that's not up to code. For her size, that's not up to code. And the way she was going, and she wasn't even that fast either. That must have been, that's not by code at all. I know that they didn't use plaster and joint compound, maybe, but it's some fragile, that must have been some drywall that was maybe it's been patched before. But you see, you can tell when she lands on it, look at the wall, it explodes from her, look at from her left side, it explodes at least another 3 or 4 inches. And then on this one, at least another 4 or 5 inches. On her other side, that it just explodes. And if you look at her size, I mean, that thing is like twice the size of her. She could go all up in that tunnel. And the impact of her hitting, it sounds louder, but when you look at her hitting the wall, it sounds like, oh, she hit that hard. But if you look at that, it just gave her a little, because you can look at her neck and see her backlash that happens. And that's how fast you can tell. So see, look, that's what we're looking for. It's not much. It would be like a little tap. It'd be someone like pushed you a little, like a little, maybe just a little, not even a shove, just a little push. You wouldn't even be able to feel, like, for that to happen. Look at her neck. See, it's just kind of an upward motion. It's not a back, more of just an upward. But to leave that hole dent, that's what I'm more surprised about. How in the world did that happen?